Morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Tuesday. I hope it finds you well out there. Yeah, everyone's back to work. Wow, the girls who are coming in this morning. Wow, there's like 1,000 times more traffic now. That happens here. It is, I guess, Arizona time as all the snowbirds are back. You know, we should set up something. I think it should be like if you're a seasonal person and you don't like to drive 85 miles an hour or more on the freeway, and you have to wait, I don't know, till there's absolutely no traffic at all to turn right or left. You know who you are. Wait until 9 o'clock. That's all we ask. That's not too much. Just wait till 9. I know you go to bed at 7. I do too. I'm not making fun. And you want to get stuff done early in the morning. It's dangerous out there. Stay home. Wait. Let the regular folk that know how we do things here, let them get to work and then go out. I don't know. I don't think that's too much to ask. That's why I don't drive out on the freeway. I'm so happy I don't have to do that anymore. Our toll-free number, now that I've given you the traffic, our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And yes, by the way, we love you, snowbirds. Don't get me wrong. I'm not upset. Just don't be out there in the morning. Just don't do it. Wait for the weekend. That's all. That's it. Everybody will be a lot safer. Having said that, I am planning on being at the Pavilion's car show this weekend with the KXXT-AM Rolls Royce. If you guys want to stop by and say hello, I think my buddy Wayne, who's doing the Chandler meetings, he's going to be stopping by. Remember, for Phoenix, for our mini meetings, everything is booking up. I think next week is already all booked. Maybe even the week after. Call and get on the list and just say, I want the Phoenix meeting. I want the Chandler meeting. Whatever one you want. We'll get you on the list, and then we just call. And here is the great thing. It works so well because, there's a lot of crud going around. Jason was down for a while. I was sick. I mean, everybody getting this I don't know what, your seasonal cold, whatever you may want to say. We had people that they were on scheduled. They called up, and I appreciate, please do this. If you're not going to make it, you're sick, something happened, who knows? Call us as fast as you can, as soon as you know you're not coming. Because we've got a list. We'll just call the next person. And we were able to do that and get other people in. And then, Jason, I don't even want to try to go through your list. You guys are stacked with meetings coming up. You want to go through those?
Yeah, we have our Wednesday meetings, which will be the 10th of December at 6 o'clock. Not tomorrow. We have another one on the 17th at 6 o'clock. Mike and I are going to try to. We have a lot of people asking questions. Show up, and if the topic or what we're talking about is not exactly where you're at or what you want answered, there will be time. Jack is there. He'll usually help with some of the small, easier stuff, basic stuff, and we try to get all the questions answered. We have 3 guys there, myself, Mike, and Jack, that are helping get that stuff accomplished. And then we have the holiday. I think it's called the holiday dinner. It's going to be December 22nd. It's a Monday. I call it a Texit party or a Texit holiday or a Texit celebration. Mike is a ranger, so he gets a little bit of a budget, a part of his advertising budget. So he really wants to fill this thing up. He wants to show the other, crews across the country of Texas guys that we can fill up a house with people that are hungry for Italian buffet, which is going to be at Cinzetti's. It's going to be at 6 o'clock on Monday the 22nd, the week of Christmas, Monday. And you get, it's pizza and pasta. I think they have an ice cream bar, and it's pretty good food. It's if you're gluten free, I think it's kind of hard to go there gluten free. But other than that, I think you'll find what you want to eat there. And 200 people. I know we could maybe skate by a little past that number if we get to 200. You have to go to ColoradoTXC.org. That's Mike's Texit website that he set up months and months and months ago. Go to ColoradoTXC.org, and you got to put your reservation in. And it's free. It's free. And I did hear that Mike is going to, it's at 104th. This Cinzetti's restaurant's at 104th, right off I-25. It's right off I-25. Easy to find. There's a shopping area there. If you're doing late Christmas shopping, you can go Christmas shopping that afternoon, and then you can go eat Cinzetti's. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't have it, but I think there's a restaurant and bar or something. Mike has many people requesting to have cocktails afterwards, so I guess in that same shopping plaza, you can just walk over, and there'll be that as well. I think he's got 50 to 100 reserved for that, so I don't know if I'll be involved in that part or not, but I'm going to be at Cinzetti's. And
just to be clear, the alcohol will not be free. Alcohol won't be free. You got to buy that on your own.
The second part is
that part on your own. That
is exactly true. That's how it works. It's just supposed to be a way to celebrate, the success of 2025.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot to celebrate. When we get back, we'll go into the news of the day, plus silver below spot. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Tuesday. Let's take a quick look at the market. The Dow's up just under 200 points. The S&P's up 16. The NASDAQ's up 120. I think that they're just, trying to hold it together here. The 10-year note 4.1. It actually was a little higher than that earlier today. And again, just massive amounts of borrowing by banks at the repo facility. Remember, the reverse repo facility, good. Repo facility, bad. So this is where we're at right now. We are at a situation where the reverse repo facility is empty, right? And all of that really means, I don't know, it's kind of a weird name for it. But it was, hey, the banks are, at the end of the day, we got too much money. All this money, and we weren't able to loan it all out.
It's the 2020 printing. It was the 2020 printing, doubling the money supply.
This all came about COVID, right?
And they doubled the money supply because they didn't know how much they needed to inject into the economy, so they went way overboard. But instead of causing dramatic inflation, they stuffed it in the reverse repo to keep it from...
That was right. That was a way to keep it out of the system.
Yep.
Right? They and of course, think about how bad inflation got.
It's a new trick for them, right, Joe? It's a new trick. Yes.
New trick.
Slow the inflation.
And that facility is empty. Now, why does that matter? Because you're like, well, hey, isn't that good? That means it's not inflationary. The problem is they were using all of that excess stuff to buy treasuries. By the way, yesterday ended quantitative tightening. But that was what that is. So the reverse repo is just excess liquidity, empty. The repo facility, it's a different animal. That's when banks say, we need to send out X billion dollars in cash today, but we don't have the cash to send it.
It's overnight lending and borrowing, right?
Right. And what they do have, they said, well, we've got these treasuries that we had to buy. Hey, can somebody let us give you some treasuries? Let's just say $10 billion. Let us give, and let's just say I'm Bank of America. And they go to J.P. Morgan and say, hey, J.P. Morgan, I got $10 billion in treasuries. can you loan me $10 billion in cash, and I'll give you the treasuries, and I'll pay you a little fee, and then I'll pay you back in a day or two, right? I just need a couple of days to get the cash, right? I'm asset rich, cash poor. That's how it's supposed to work. That's not working, right? So this example, Bank of America, and again, this is just an example, they went out to all the banks to borrow $10 billion. And said, hey, I'll give you treasuries for a few days. You can make a little bit of money. Charge me a fee. Give me my $10 billion so I can send out everyone's mortgages and car payments and insurance and all that stuff. Nope. Don't have anybody willing to do it. Now, why are they not willing to do it? I think in most cases today, they're not willing to do it because they don't have any excess cash, right? They would love to do it. Yes, I'd love to give you I make a fee, right? Let's say banks love making fees. The other scenario, so don't have it, or some of these banks, unfortunately, the other banks are like, nah, right? I don't like your balance sheet. It's too risky. I don't know that you will pay me back, right? Because you might be going under. Either way, these banks go to the Fed repo window, and the Fed gives them the money.
Yeah.
Right? And this is what's blown up. This has become a big problem.
Like it did in 2019. Like it blew up in 2019.
Yes.
And then we ended up with COVID. Just magically, COVID showed up when the repo market was weak. It's happening again. And Joe, you know what you're describing? You're describing loan sharking. That's what you're describing. You have your different loan sharks. And then of course there's the collector, right? If you don't pay, but
right.
When he gets to this level of these huge banks looking for these huge overnight numbers, to borrow, and then there's nobody else that has it because the liquidity is drying up. Well, this is why they want to lower the rates and print, and everyone's going to just sit there and wait. It's like, how much? Yeah, that's the whole thing. You can almost see it in their faces. If you really look closely, when they're doing their drab, dry interviews, they're you can almost see it in their eyes. They're like, you can almost see them wondering, how much inflation are we going to get? How much is it actually going to happen? Right? Is there a trick that we can come up with to stop the inflation while we throw money at everything?
Throw money at everything. How can we hide it? Yes. On the other side of things, and we're going to get more into this in a minute. Crypto's rebounded today. It's been tough, going, but at least. For a day here, Bitcoin back to 90,000. Ethereum got back to 3,000. We'll see how long that lasts. By the way, Texas, I don't know, boy, Texas on the verge. Looks like it's trying to break out here, but right now, 385? It has been between $3.60 and $4 for like the last week and a half. But we'll keep her on it. Gold after the big move yesterday, some profit taking today. Right now, gold's down 50, 41.80. But the big news, and everybody knows it, silver. What the heck is going on? By the way, silver, they tried to take some profits. I don't know how long it's going to last. Silver now it's down 50 cents. 57.42. It got to $58 in change yesterday. Some really weird things happening. Remember on Friday? Friday was the first. It didn't move $3 on Friday. It moved $2 yesterday. And the CME, remember they had we had a problem with the servers. And they got too hot and had to shut it down. And a lot of people speculated that maybe, and I'm just going to throw it out there, J.P. Morgan was in trouble when it came to silver. And by allowing enough time to go by, J.P. Morgan was able to at least mitigate some of the damage. But what is interesting, over the weekend, so this was Friday, over the weekend, J.P. Morgan moved its entire metals trading desk from New York to Singapore. And I don't know, right? Some people are speculating that J.P. Morgan, at least their metals desk again, maybe broke some rules and have moved their metals guys to Singapore. I mean, I don't know what that does, but it's very interesting how these pieces to the puzzle are coming together, and I don't think anything happens on accident, right? There's a big problem in the metals market. By the way, you know what? We haven't even talked about copper hit another record today. Another one. But Jason, it is very interesting, the move that was made, and then, you think about Tether, right? They've gone after taking the best gold traders in the world as well. And then interesting, this morning, when it came to Tether and the S&P ratings agency, the S&P rating agencies said that they view Tether as, and I want to get the right word that they're using to describe it. Put it this way, as far as the S&P, now this isn't the S&P 500, the S&P, the rating agency's S&P, they downgraded Tether USDT's dollar peg rating to weak. That is the lowest on the scale, and prompting fear and uncertainty about the stable coins in general. Now, Tether has come out and said, what a bunch of crap, right? They haven't done their due diligence. They didn't count this. They didn't count that. Now, part of it is, ready for this, is they said, well, if a 30% decline in gold and Bitcoin would wipe out enough equity that it would destabilize Tether. In other words, they're saying to Tether, hey, we think you own too much gold and you own too much Bitcoin, and apparently not enough U.S. Treasuries, Jason. That's kind of what they're saying. And it's interesting because the Treasury trade isn't working. And I know, obviously, Bitcoin had it went through a little trauma here lately, but by and large, the gold trade and the Bitcoin trade are the ones that, especially the gold trade, those are the ones that are working.
I find that interesting because Tether's one of the largest buyers of treasuries on the planet right now. So, on
the planet, yes.
And they're saying
all by themselves.
They don't have enough.
They're in the top 10.
And they're being criticized for not having more. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what it looks like.
If you don't if you don't bank into this system, it's almost like going after Venezuela.
Yes.
it's got the feel that these big corporations are if they don't have a sufficient amount of treasuries, that now maybe we don't have to invade countries. We'll be invading corporate offices to force them into treasuries. Is that what we're looking at? That's what you essentially said. And they buy a bunch of treasuries. Tether buys a bunch of this stuff.
Oh yeah, Tether's a huge buyer, but not. Again, they want more. Here's what's interesting. Why do I bring it up? Well, we know that the primary dealers are out of money. How do we know that? Because they continue to borrow at incredible rates at the repo facility, right? Which means I don't have enough liquidity. Nobody will let me borrow from them by handing them treasuries, which just kind of really says nobody has enough liquidity. And then you throw on top of that the fact that quantitative tightening has ended. So right technically today, there's another $5 billion that is going to, I guess, come out of and have to be bought by somebody else, right? That supply came off. So $5 billion doesn't have to be bought by somebody else, but $5 billion doesn't move the needle. 800-951-0592. I don't know what's happened, but the Dow has taken away all its gains. The S&P is negative. The NASDAQ getting ready to go negative. OpenAI, there's been rumors there that they have lost the lead when it comes to AI. I don't know, Michael Burry out again talking about ridiculous valuations. We'll call it a whole bunch of different little things that, well, quite honestly, let's face it, this is what happens when you're in a bubble. What we're worried about is the lack of liquidity in bond markets. Japan looks like they're the first they're going to be forced to do what they don't want to do, which is they're going to have to raise rates. Looks like this month again. Remember the Japanese, remember for the longest time they had negative rates, right? The Bank of Japan, they're the only buyer there. We'll see what happens. We've got a Fed meeting coming up, next week? That we're going to get lower rates again. We were talking about the end of quantitative tightening. That's only $5 billion. All right, so there's $5 billion less a month that has to be bought. But Goldman Sachs this morning started talking about the reverse repo facility being at zero, started talking about the amount of borrowing at the repo facility, and they said that right now their belief is it will not be long before the Federal Reserve is going to have to step into the markets. And Jason, they're talking about January 2026. I mean, they're talking next month that the Fed is going to have to restart quantitative easing again. Right now, J.P. Morgan is saying that, hey, we think they'll probably start somewhere around the $20 billion a month, and that they would gradually and steadily continue to boost the level of buying that the central bank will have to do. They're saying that the Treasury is also going to have to increase auction sizes next year as well. And this is kind of like a perfect storm. But J.P. Morgan does highlight that if the Fed steps in and buys enough, the goal will be that the Fed will buy enough treasuries that these primary dealers will actually have to buy less treasuries next year than what they were forced to buy this year. Yes. That's the goal.
Yeah, the Fed's balance sheet actually is at its traditional level that they're okay to start buying again, actually. I was watching a couple guys talking about the long-term holdings of treasuries by the Fed, and then they're at a point now, Joe, where they could take it on versus what they've done in the past. And I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but it all makes sense with what they're doing with lowering the rates.
Well,
if they can't get people, if they can't get entities to buy tons of treasuries, then they will take on whatever needs to be taken on. And here we are, off to the races again, Joe.
Off to the races again. Looks like they're going to use the rating agencies as a weapon to force maybe the crypto guys to buy more treasuries, saying, hey, wait a minute. You guys are buying way too much other stuff, right? And again, there's a reason. What, you think the guys at Tether are dumb? Do you think they're saying, hey, let's buy something that will perform worse than treasuries? Of course not. Of course not. Now, remember, how do you make money on treasuries? Rates go down. Tether is saying, yeah, but with all the inflation, even with rates going down, maybe these other asset classes are going to do far better.
Yeah, well, why would you want to buy low return, low interest products, right? I think Tether understood what just happened through COVID when they pumped it all the way, the rates all the way back down to zero again, and people were gorging on it, and then the rates went up because of the inflation. I think Tether is probably smart enough to say, you know what? Yeah, we got what we want. I think we're done buying now. You're lowering the rates. Yeah, we don't like these returns, and gold and silver absolutely are going to be higher than what these treasuries are going to be given when they lower the rates further here again this month.
Yeah, and again, I'll just say, as we've been saying all along, the winners are here, and we have them. Silver now silver may go positive now, down 35 cents here, 57.60. I've got two different items for you to choose from. First, we've done these a little bit in the past, the Canadian dollar rolls. Remember, these are like 1960s Canadian dollars. They were 80% silver. They come in rolls of 20. The roll itself has 12 ounces of silver in it. 12 ounces of silver. Right now, silver is $57.60. Melt, $691.20. We have 50 rolls. Because this is about stacking now. You need as much as you can get your hands on for the least amount of price. 50 rolls, $600. That it is. That's $7.60 an ounce below melt. So think about you're buying silver. Silver here, it's almost $58, and you're getting to buy 12 ounces of silver for $50. It doesn't get better than that. You don't get that far under. There's 50 rolls, and when they're gone, once I don't have more. I don't plan on getting any more. A deal came up. Jason and I, we jumped on it, and then junk silver. Utility silver, dimes, quarters, half dollars, all at melt. Dimes at $2.05 a roll, quarters at $4.10. The half dollar's a little above melt, $4.15 on rolls of half dollars. Get in on the silver train, because the only question is, when does it hit 100? 800-951-0592. Just a huge opportunity here on the silver. We had 50 rolls of the Canadian dollars, 12 ounces of silver. That's all that matters.
12 ounces of silver.
Coins,
yeah.
12 ounces of silver. $600. $600. That's $7.50 under melt.
Below melt.
That's not below melt. That's like way below melt.
Let me explain the opportunity here, actually, where we're sitting, because a couple of months ago, to be completely, so you understand this, there's so much selling, and Joe will tell you, we have 5, 6, 7 to 1 sellers to buyers right now. It's all over the country, and the smelters, the end beyond the wholesalers, and the wholesalers get too gummed up with too much silver and gold. They send it to the smelter, and the smelter doesn't care what kind of silver it is or gold. It's how many ounces. It's being melted into bars and sent to these big contracts. And because the price keeps going up because the biggest players are buying, they're busy, right, Joe? And they stopped smelting and melting what they call alloy silver. Anything that's not .999, they said until somewhere into 2026, we'll start melting that stuff again. So right now, it's not popular to be buying or selling what they call alloy silver. I believe the Canadian dollars are 80% silver, Joe. I don't know if they're 90 or 80.
Yeah.
I think they're 80.
Yeah, 80. 80%, 90%. Anything that isn't pure
sterling,
1 ounce, right?
Sterling is 92.5%. So all that stuff is sitting on shelves waiting to be melted, and so the price is being pushed down. The wholesalers, I called Joe yesterday. I was like, hey, we need to be smart on how we're pricing this stuff. And Joe went to the website and is looking, and they are paying well below spot for alloy silver, 90% silver. These Canadians that we're selling you. The reason you're getting the low price is because it's not popular right now, and you would think, well, why would I want to buy this stuff that nobody wants right now? You think the smelters are just going to stop? At some point, the silver, the 99.999 silver they're going to get ahead on it, and then they're going to be like, well, we want to keep making money. Bring us your 90%. Bring us your Canadian rolls. Bring us your sterling. And then suddenly $7 below melt isn't going to happen ever, ever, ever again. Next time we have these, once the smelters are back up and running, you'll be lucky to get them at melt. Maybe $1 below melt.
Yeah. Listen, melt is...
It's a good way to buy.
Stupid price.
It's a good way to buy.
Right. Great way to buy, right? So we have U.S. government hallmarked junk silver, $50 at $4 or $415. Now, each roll has 7.15 ounces of silver. That's $58. So you're paying what, 50 cents over melt for $50.
And silver ended over 58 yesterday. So we're in the middle of silver really bouncing and moving, pushing up. So essentially, you're buying a melt.
Rolls of quarters. Again, 7.15 ounces of silver, $410. That's $57.34. That's below melt. Now, is it huge? No, but it is. Same thing with the dime. Now, the dimes are half of that, right? But it's the same thing. Essentially, the dimes and quarters, $57.34. The $50 you're buying at $58 an ounce. But these Canadian dollars you're buying at $50 an ounce. So you have a couple of different ways to go. But as Jason said, this is a temporary thing because the smelters are in a 911 mode, right? Print out and spit out as much 1,000-ounce silver bars as possible to get to the exchanges. And they have no problem selling everything that they have. The issue, though, is eventually, there is no more 999 silver to melt. That's when all of a sudden, all of the alloy stuff, right? The 90%, the sterling, the 80%, the 40%. All of that is going to go next. It just makes sense that for the smelters, they're like, well, this is what we can melt the fastest.
Yep.
Right?
You don't have to pull it. With .999 silver, you don't have to pull the copper out.
Right.
It's just an easier process. And if they're overloaded, if you're overloaded, you're going to do the easiest thing to get it into the customer's hands. And, Joe, we've been talking for months and months and years about how much banks and nations are swallowing up silver and gold. So, yeah, the easiest is the fastest.
It won't last much longer. And then all of a sudden, as Jason pointed out, you won't be able to buy anything.
No.
For melt or just above melt. It won't happen. Right now, there is an opportunity in the 80, 90. We don't do 40%, but we may start, right? Jason and I had a conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
Is it time for us to start selling individual Silver Eagles? Because we don't do that. And the answer to that is going to be yes. I will say this. I've been in touch with the appropriate people with our shopping cart. We will be making some changes in 2026 that should make the experience easy, allow us better flexibility in how we handle orders and shipping and all of that other stuff. Yeah. Well, when silver's $100 and you want to buy one Silver Eagle for, I don't know what it'll be, 110, 115, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to be able to make that happen for you. But right now, guys, don't be dumb here. Buy the Canadian dollar rules first. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason wrapping up today's show. We have the silver below melt and way below melt. Way below melt, however many is left on the Canadian dollars. There's 12 ounces of silver in each roll. We only had 50 rolls. The price per roll is $600, which equates to $50 to the ounce. Right now, silver is $57.60 an ounce. And then on the utility, a.k.a. junk silver, the quarters, $4.10. The dimes, half of that at $2.05. Those are also below melt, about $57.34. And then rolls a $50, $415. That's barely above melt, right at $58. So this is your opportunity. And Jason and I think we've done a good job laying out why is it that you're able to buy it this effectively. It is because of the dire situation in the COMEX, in London, in Shanghai. Don't be – listen, $100 silver is coming, and unfortunately, when they're out of 999 silver, there's going to be a flood from the refiners to melt down all of this silver next. And the opportunity, Jason, I think, to buy silver below melt, this anomaly will disappear. We just don't know exactly when. When will it be early 26, mid 26, late 26? That part we don't know.
I think that we'll see what happens. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of selling going on. So if a lot of .99 and silver keeps getting sold and being moved through the system, it has to slowly come to an end at some point, Joe. And then look, in 1980 they melted more 90% junk silver than at any other time in American history. That's 1980. Remember, Joe? I wasn't paying attention. I was young, but they melted and melted and melted and melted so much of that coinage. That's why you don't find it in circulation anymore. 1980 took most of it out. People were looking at every
very
coin.
Rarely, right? How often do you get pre-64 quarters, dimes, or $50 and change anymore? When I was growing up, it was somewhat common, especially in the mid-late 70s to get that stuff. I can't even remember the last time I got that in change, because Jason's right. And here's the thing. It's not like it's a lot, right? When the smelter's melted, there's just not that much of it. It's a great opportunity. I hope you take advantage of it. And then, of course, as always, they're not gonna let up. Get that other revenue stream going. Get that daily income going with Texas Coin. And again, I'll be at the Pavilion's car show. They have it every Saturday at the McDonald's there, and all the cool cars are out there. Me and some of our other Texit buddies are going to bring our cool cars out there. So if you guys want to stop by, say hello, great.